Welcome to Conversations with the Unseen. My name is Andy.
And my name is Laura. And in December 2019, we began an amazing and completely unexpected journey, conversing with beings from the unseen world, which has totally transformed our lives.
And here we are, after hundreds and hundreds of hours of conversations, doing what our non-physical friends have been encouraging us to do, sharing their message with others who may be interested.
So let's dive in.
Hello, dear friends.
Hello, Mexicans. So here we are, and this human self is really curious about what you will share with us today.
Many humans experience curiosity about a great many things, and many would say that they are seeking an experience of peace and fulfillment from their lives. And there are many ways to call these energies to oneself. And we would speak of one of those ways. One of the ways in which a human can feel more peaceful and fulfilled is through service. And service is really about taking the eyes off oneself and placing the eyes or the focus of attention on another or a situation. And the purest form of service is that where there is no possibility of personal gain, whether that be monetarily or some other physical gain, or other forms of gain which can come through feeling that one's reputation in the eyes of others has been enhanced or uplifted in some way. If none of those are present, then the service can be a contribution in ways that the human self cannot immediately be aware of. We have spoken many times about the experience of being human, and a major part of that experience is that of separation. Who you really are exists in a state of oneness. That non-physical being that you are, beyond form, is one with all that is. And the experience of being human offers a state of contrast where there is an experience of separation. And so in focusing on service, it is a step towards reconnecting with that non-physical, infinite self that we call the inner being. And that is what the journey into form is offering who you really are the experience of, the rediscovery of your true nature from a perspective of having temporarily forgotten. And so service not only brings peace and satisfaction and fulfillment to the human self, something that most humans are seeking. It is also a route to rediscovering your true nature, where you are not separate, where you are one with all that is. And there is no such thing as personal gain or self-interest. And service can come in so many forms. It can be a physical act, an act of kindness, an act of generosity. It can also come in a non-physical form, flowing love, for example, to a person or a situation where there is a call for love, where there is a need, is also an act of service. Being aligned with who you really are, being your true nature in the physical realm, is an act of service. It raises the vibration. It reminds apparent others of their true nature, and therefore helps others to awaken from the dream that humans are having, the dream of being in an upside down reality where there is such a thing as separation. And so the invitation we would make to anyone listening to this conversation would be to be open to the possibility of offering service to another whenever that opportunity arises. And of course, there is always an opportunity to be of service.
What a wonderful topic, Mexicans. This human character has and continues to be on a journey with service. And as I was listening to you, what was coming was remembering a whole season in this human character's experience where it thought it was being of service, but really it was all about the money. It was trying to be clever about it, I guess. And the other thing that occurs from conversations we've had about service is that service is also about including this human character. It's not excluding. Because when this human character wasn't included, that too wasn't service. It was coming from a different space. It was looking for something back from the other person, whether that was appreciation or acknowledgement. And there have been examples that are coming to mind. The content is irrelevant, where this human has been of service and it's been joyful, satisfying, deeply fulfilling.
And so this is a journey of awareness you describe, moving from apparent service and service to some degree, some value being delivered to another and receiving something in exchange. This is a more transactional type of service. And even within those situations, there is an opportunity to deliver more than was expected, to go beyond what was agreed, and for no additional gain. So even within those situations, there is an opportunity to challenge the program that exists within the human mind about personal gain and there being a separate other. And so that being the case, that there is no separate other, when service is offered and given to another, you really do it for yourself. And so what may seem like a selfless act ends up being a gift to yourself also.
There's also something about the energy of service for me
There is an energetic component with acts of service where to selflessly give to another is like a gentle wake-up call. It may be that in that moment, the apparent other has lost touch with all sense of who they really are and is feeling perhaps alone or has some unmet need. And that unmet need would always come down to love. It would be a call for love. And for others who are more in touch with that sense of who they really are, there is a possibility to show up in the life of another and be that presence of love, to show up as Great Spirit in human form, in a human costume, Great Spirit in disguise. And what would Great Spirit do in that situation? How would it be? It would be loving. It would make no judgment. It would give. And that is at the heart of service.
You're bringing to mind a wonderful example, and again, the content is relevant. There was an invitation for me to be of service, and on that particular occasion, the human self was willing, because let's be clear, there are also times where the human self is like, I don't want to, which is why it's so wonderful to be able to look in the direction of the inner being. I said yes to this invitation to be of service, and in order to be able to be of service, I asked Andy, do you want to come on an adventure? Yes or no, ask the energy. And bless him, he said yes. And we had the most delicious adventure. And what was also really lovely was in that moment we were being the energy of Great Spirit, and we were saying, and what else, and what else, and what else, and what else, and how else. And just how, well, you can hear it in the energy as I'm talking about it. And it was such a wonderful adventure, and I'm so grateful the human self said yes to that call. And it's a journey for the human self, because as I said, sometimes this human self does say, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't want to offer them that. I don't want to say that. And the practice for me has been learning to be of service beyond the ever-changing opinions of the human self and the programs.
And these programs are not fixed or permanent. They can be changed. And one of the ways in which a program, such as the one you described, can change is to retrain the mind from a position of resistance and seeing the situation as one in which the human self will lose something and the apparent other will gain something, to rather being a situation where both can gain. So the human self that is being invited to be of service can look at the situation as an opportunity to receive as well as give, because ultimately there is no giving and no receiving, because there is no separation. There is only oneness. There is the experience of separation, but separation does not exist. And therefore, in that moment where there is an opportunity to be of service, there is also an opportunity for oneness.
And it's curious because listening to you, you started off saying service is not about the human self gaining anything, not looking for anything in return. And yet here you are saying by being of service, it does receive something.
And not in the way that the human self would be expecting. Where there is a transaction, this is much more obvious to the human self, how that will work. When there is selfless service, when there is service offered with nothing to be gained apparently in return, there is always a positive byproduct, whatever that might be. And it is not something for the human self to go looking for. If there is service in an attempt to receive the positive byproduct, then that becomes transactional again. And so to offer the service with no expectation of anything in return allows the universe to bless the human self in a way that it will always know how to do.
I'm reminded of an organisation I worked in years ago, and those of us who were there to give seemed to receive much more than those who were there to get. And I saw it play out time and time again.
And this is a wonderful example, and will be the case for many situations, many communities, many relationships, families, businesses, countries, humanity. And it is another example of how the physical realm is an upside down reality. When you go searching for something, you don't find it. When you're willing for it not to be there, it comes to you.
It's comedy. Because of course it occurred to me that to go looking for something is really to say that you lack it, and so the energy that is being chosen is lack.
Exactly so.
And so are there any final words that you would share before we close?
To those who are listening, you have an opportunity to discover your true nature. And it is possible in every moment to look in that direction. And service is one of the ways in which the human self can reconnect with its true nature. And so we encourage you to play with this and see where it leads. And we flow love to you now.
I love you, Mexicans, and I'm so grateful for this conversation. Thank you.
Until next time.
Until next time.
You've been listening to Conversations with the Unseen.
If you'd like to know when there's a new conversation available, then remember to subscribe and also to share it with others.
If you'd like to have a written transcript of each conversation, then you'll find this on the website conversationswiththeunseen.com.
And if you have a question you'd like us to ask on your behalf, or if you would like to join the mailing list, then you can also do that on the website conversationswiththeunseen.com.
Until next time.